Hello, 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 hello. Right. Okay, let's just for a minute. Mm. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Okay. Today I had one issue. Yes. What is that? Hello, good people. I see there are two people live with me today. I had an issue while I was live. My son just had something, and that is why I'm late. I was actually live on Facebook trying to explain something, and then life happened. A mother, and I was about to send a message to my assistant that I'm not going to go live, but I am going to go live because now he's fine. I just don't know what happened. Maybe he had a nightmare. He was sleeping, and then things just happening. Let me just do this quickly. Coach. Sorry, guys. Corey, the devil is tampering with me being punctual. The devil is saying, hey, you are always punctual. Okay. All right. So, okay. I'm going to start anyway, even if we are few people here. My name is Coach Malibu. I am a holistic life coach. I am an author, right? An author of 2 books called The Journey and Confessions. Yeah. I am an author, and also I have created this journal, this beautiful journal called Create the Life That You Want. And I am also a motivational speaker. So I was busy trying to give motivation, and then just my son got an episode there, and even now here I am late. But anyway, we're going to go on. The show's gonna go on, and I am going to be brief because after that, I am now preparing for the retreat, and I needed to go fetch something, and I thought, okay, fine, I'm going to do this 30 minutes and all that, huh? But then now my time has been interrupted. Hopefully I will be short today, and we will continue again next week. Please remember, if you are here, you are part of the group. I'm not going to go live tomorrow on the group, but I will go live after here on the Facebook so that people can get the message. So today we're talking about self-love, guys. We're talking about self-love, especially after trauma. Now, many people know trauma as, you are attacked, a whole lot of, great, and those traumatic situation, but we never think of trauma as, as grief, as losing a loved one, as being molested. We don't think that is trauma, but it is trauma. So this is what we're talking about. And of course, I'm talking about my story from sexual abuse, but I know that it's not all of us in this world that we're going to be sexually abused, so you can relate it to your own type of trauma. Now, after you have experienced something traumatic, something painful, the way in which you view yourself is different, right? So I know with me that I had viewed myself differently. I wanted what is less for me, which was not what God wanted for my life, right? So this is where we have to practice self-love, right? So let me begin with my story here. I know last week I didn't touch on it. And when I was sexually abused, as some of you know, between the ages of 8 and 11, my reproduction system, was also tampered with. And then I started a bedwetting. So this was one of the things that I was doing. And the bedwetting brought a lot of shame in me. So I had embodied a lot of shame in my body, around my body. And it went on, and I remember that the last time when it happened, when I was older, was when I was in high school. I think I was doing grade 11 when I was then I was bedwetting. By then I remember visiting my mother's family, and now my aunts were saying, you have to come back and wash your blankets, because now you have made the bed wet and everything is wet there, right? And then, because I hadn't healed from the trauma, you if you have been traumatic or in a traumatic situation, then something is going to trigger you, but it is not the same thing. It's not like you are going through sexual abuse again, or losing a loved one, but something can happen that triggers the trauma, right? So when I was old, guys, and I'm talking about this like literally on social media, when I was old, I was already dating, I was already working, and I think it was somewhere in 2011, between 2011 and 2012. The trauma happened, something happened in my life that triggered the situation, and I bedwetted. I'm laughing now. When I journey through my life, I'm laughing, but at the time it was again full of shame. I was so much full of shame. Yeah, like you are old and you don't even know how like when you are bedwetting, guys. Sometimes, yes, I know that you dream of you are peeing somewhere. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you waking up in the morning and then you are wet because you have just literally released, right? So in between 2011 and 2012, my pastor from home, who was also like a father to me, though I had a father, but I was talking to him even like the way I would talk to my father about my finances, about a lot of things, right? And he passed away. Actually, on the day that he passed away, and my mom and I, we call each other almost every day. But on the day when when my mom called me, I felt that thing. I woke up with a sad feeling. I didn't know where to locate it. And when I saw a phone call from my mom in the morning, I was at work. It was around 8 o'clock. Then I was like, why is my mom calling? But she's always calling. Anyway, when she broke the news that my pastor passed away, pastor passed away, right? And it was a shock to me. One, I didn't know that he was sick, and I felt like, oh my God, why didn't I? Why was I not given a sign and a whole lot of things? In that moment, I had agreed to go to Venda with this other friend of mine. I don't know if we were friends or we were just in a situationship, but I had agreed on that because of the fact that I knew that I want to go and see Venda and all of this and all of that, right? For the very first time. Then we went, and I think by that time it was during the time of Good Friday, because when we were going to Venda, going to Limpopo was just, the traffic was just a mess, and we decided, no, let's maybe then book a hotel in Polokwane, and then tomorrow morning, then we wake up, then we head to Elim, right? So while we booked a hotel there, and then I slept, right? I slept, literally sleeping. And when I woke up in the morning, I'm talking about something in 2012, right? Just the time when I was beginning to really ask myself, who is this person? What is my purpose? And there I was. I woke up in the morning and the bed was wet, and I did not know who to tell what is it that I need to do. And I told this friend of mine that, I bedwetted and I don't know. Then we left it because it was in a in a in a lodge or a hotel, right? And he was busy asking me the next day that please don't bedwet, because we went to his friend's house, and now he didn't want to answer for her. When are you coming with girls who can bedwet? So imagine the shame that I would have in when I am already old. I mean, I was almost, I think about 25, if I'm not mistaken. I was already 25 or 23. I had a sound mind, but I couldn't stop the bedwetting, right? So when I came back to myself, I had to come back to loving myself, because the opposite of shame, what is the opposite of shame? Is for you, when you are shameful, it means that shame and love cannot be in the same place. So I had to really practice self-love, and I'm going to tell you about the things that I had done in order for me to bring up this love, the shame around my body, and the shame that I had around my body and around myself, right? Okay, let me fix myself. The shame around my body and around myself. So the trauma, the sexual trauma, it gives you a lot of things. Like, you even start looking at yourself in a different way, so I couldn't go to visit people anymore, because I was scared that, what if that happens, right? But most importantly is that the way in which you view yourself. I was doing a reflection on myself, throughout the time before I could get my healing and after I got my healing. And I realized that throughout this time, I had been asking for less. I had been asking for less of myself. I've been asking for, I remember we had three people when I started working as an IT specialist. We had three people who were doing it. It was me and two other people, and it was as if Malebo Ene, she doesn't know anything, but the other people know everything, right? So subconsciously, and my energy had this idea, just because I had been sexually abused, I do not deserve things, right? There are so many things, the relationship that I have been in, that really, when I look at them right now, though I had healed, I am seeing how I had left myself, in a room, and went to something that is not me, something that God has not intended for my life. So I know that many times when you go through any type of trauma, the way in which you view yourself, you can be even, addicted to things, and you see less of yourself, you earn less. Some people are earning less, not because the company cannot give them, but because of the things that had happened to them, that had created that energy within them, right? So I had written this down so that I go with the script. So the first thing is that we need to do is to unlearn the things that you had learned throughout your survival, or throughout your time when you were still a victim, right? You have to unlearn a lot of things, right? Hello, guys. Hello. I even forgot to say hello, guys. Hey, King, go. So the first thing that we need to unlearn as survivors, or if you have been through any type of trauma, is to unlearn the survival mode. So sometimes in life we are not living, especially if you have been through pain. You are not living, but you are surviving. You are trying to survive. You are trying to bophelo ba solanka, yeah, I don't know the English word for that, but yeah, you're just living just because you're not living to the fulfillment of your purpose, or to the fulfillment, or the fulfillment of the purpose of what God has intended for your life. So I know with me, I went into smoking, I went into drinking, I went into bad relationships, really bad relationships, right? So those are the coping mechanism. Some people would go to you would be in toxic relationships, even marriages, and they would even stay when they are abused. I know some people would ask, "Why are you staying in a relationship where you are abused?" But because of how trauma makes you feel and how it makes you look at yourself, then you start wanting less for yourself. So you start actually choosing to be in relationship that are affecting your health and your well-being, right? So I know many people who have been, even myself, I've been physically abused or assaulted or whatever, right? Because of the energy I emit, right? That time, not now, right? So I remember I had been in a relationship with a person that I was not supposed to be in a relationship with. I knew I was not supposed to be. It was wrong for me to be in that relationship, but I went because I wanted to be counted among the people who are in a relationship. Then one day this guy just woke up and unshapa, literally ko re ke shapiwa. Yo, my friends couldn't even help me because that guy was fighting me as if I was a man. When two big men are fighting, it was like that. But the red flags were always there, but I decided to be naive because of what? Because I had thought of I'm lower than that, I cannot get a person who can love me for who I am, right? So that is what is currently happening for people who have been through trauma. And today I'm talking about sexual abuse. And I said in the beginning, you can, relate it to your situation, right? Some people have been sexually traumatized, but they don't remember. But the actions would tell you that you have been through sexual abuse. I know a lot of people, my clients would come and say, "Nah, coach, there's something wrong with me. I don't know." Then when we do the energy healing session, then they find out that they have been sexually abused by their own people, either their parents or their grandparents or whoever, or their brothers or their neighbors. But that thing had always been there, right? So you would see the patterns in your relationship that you are choosing for yourself, that you are actually saying, even if you are not with your mouth saying yes, but you are actually saying yes to abuse, you are actually saying yes to being a side chick. I'm telling you, if you are here and you are a side chick or you are a side guy, just know that you don't love yourself. There's no one who loves himself or herself who can be a side chick. And I know that, yeah, we have this thing that, yeah, but after that I was a side chick, now I'm married. Whether you are married or you can still be married and still not loving yourself. So it's like, wow. So the survival mode is getting into relationships that are not good for you, but you are getting there because you don't love yourself, and because you don't love yourself, you are seeking for love from another person who does not know how to love himself or herself. And you guys, you are vibrating at the same level. That's why you are together. Mhm. So the survival mode, some people would go drug abuse, sex, promiscuity, her English, yeah, that weight, right? So they would go and use sex as a weapon, that I can give you sex and go away, and then no emotions attached. There's nothing like that. You cannot have sex with another person and say there are no emotions attached. There are always emotions attached. Right? So the survival can be abuse, and to the extreme. Actually, today when I was preparing for this, God then said, even the food that we consume, to many people who are saying, you know what, I want to lose weight, but I cannot do this. It's because the food that we consume, some of the food that we consume give us comfort and do not deal with the root issue, right? So many people would be addicted to sugar, and when they're not feeling well, then they opt for sugar, but not dealing with the thing at hand. So when you are putting this I know with me, I don't drink coffee a lot. Not so long ago I was drinking it, but I can finish like um a year without drinking coffee because I know how it makes me feel. Milk, I know. But there are people who know that this does not treat me right, but again it gives them comfort. Then they opt for that because they want to treat their bodies as the dumping site because there's no love in there. So what we need to unlearn, we need to unlearn the coping, the survival that we do, the coping mechanism that we have. Some people, it's out there, is that they love men or they love women and all that. To some people, it's behind closed doors. They are eating, not exercising, they're not taking care of themselves, they are in relationships. On Facebook, they're showing, I'm in love, but they know personally that they are not in love. Mhm. That is a coping mechanism, right? And then the second one is what I have already highlighted, of undeservingness. Now, when you have been through any type of trauma, especially sexual abuse, you feel like you do not deserve certain things. And I remember, at church they would preach about saving yourself for your husband. And I remember with me, I didn't have the choice. I never had a choice, and whether I want to save myself for my husband or what. A guy came into my life and took my virginity. So it used to be a trigger to me when somebody would preach and say, save yourself for your husband, and I'm like, girl, do you know what I have been through, right? So because of that, I also thought that I do not deserve to be married. I do not deserve to have a child. I do not deserve a certain thing, deservingness, and deservingness that comes out of love, not comes out of a sense of entitlement. So that is the second one, right? The deservingness. Now, the third one is oversharing. And I am healing from that. And when I talk about oversharing, I'm not talking about the social media type of sharing, where, yeah, I'm with my husband and all these things. I'm talking about the things that you share with the people that you are close to. Like many people who are following me on social media, they don't know what's going on in my life. Okay, I will just give you an idea where, yeah, I went out with my husband on a hiking and this and this and that, right? But they don't know the depth of what is happening in my marriage, or if it's up, it's down, or whatever. But I had this idea of sharing with the people that are close to me, as friends, as whatever, right? And I remember I went to 2 sessions where I had to be, that spirit. They said, hey girl, you need to shush, right? So we overshare in a way of seeking for validation. So you think that if you can share too much and people can know about you, then they will validate you and they will tell you that you are strong or whatever. And again, it's another way, especially if you have held on to the trauma, you never told anyone about it for many years. Then when you come out, you want to now, as if like you are vomiting, right? So that people can love you, they can honor you, or whatever the reason is. So oversharing, when I'm talking about it in this manner, that um um, um survivors of sexual abuse and rape and sexual trauma, they also have a problem of oversharing. And this again can go into other people who have their own type of traumas, right? So oversharing is one of them, and you need to be observant. You need to understand, why is it that I want to share? I remember I went to a coaching session and this lady said, hey Kari, if you want to share anything, right, you go to your ancestor, that grandmother of yours who passed away. And I'm like, oh my goodness. But now when you overshare, some people, and I don't want to make it like you're gonna lead you hoo-ha, but there are people who are not really happy for you, and when you are inside of that energy of people who are not happy for you and you are sharing it, and then a lot of problems then are created from that, because what they are spitting there is poison, right? They say, oh, nagana ke mang, so I've learned in my life that now my husband is my best friend, and I'm telling him everything that I know. I no longer go out there, and if I want to talk about anything, if I want to vomit anything, I will tell him, because this is the person that I'm living with. This is the person I'm intending to share the rest of my life with, right? So you need to go again and check, why is it that you want to overshare? Why is it that you want to actually, why is it that you want to share that with any other person? And you want to share so that they can feel the pity party, they can feel and you know, do a pity party for you, or feel that shame for you, or what is it, what is the reason for you to share that thing, right? And then the fourth one is the self-judgment. So many of us as a people, especially if you have been through sexual abuse, there is a whole lot of entanglement with shame and guilt and a whole lot of other things, right? uh, you know, so because of the shame and the guilt, you end up thinking, actually, even the society have made it this thing, yeah, it's you who's the problem, right? It's you who's the problem. You are the problem. The reason why she got raped is that she was in the tavern and then there were men, or she was dressed like this. So now that collective, you know, type of energy has been imparted from one generation to the other. Now we're thinking that we are always wrong. Now you're always trying so hard, and when you judge yourself, that's where the self-confidence issue, then it's, you know, the perfectionism, that's where it's coming from. You want to be perfect because you're always judging, is this yellow good? No, it's not good enough, so let me put another yellow so that it can look like this. And you are actually, when you are judging yourself, you are actually doing it for other people. Most of the time when you judge yourself, you judge that, okay, the way in which I speak is not good, people are not going to like me. Hey, the way I have lost weight is not good, people are going to see me and all, or perceive me, right? That is the judgment that we put upon ourselves because of lack of self-love. And these are the things that we need to unlearn, that you were not wrong, you know. For you to be sexually abused or raped or what, you didn't ask for it. There is absolutely no one who can go out there and ask to be sexually abused or raped, right? Right. And then the last one is pushing people away. Yo, guys, you know, especially if you haven't healed. Now, this one is for people who haven't healed. They push away people who love them because they see them as the perpetrator. So if you have been raped as a woman, you are seeing men as that guy who, or those guys who gang raped you, right? So every time when you come in a close proximity, yeah, in a close proximity with other people, you know, who love you, who want to show you compassion and a whole lot of that, because you never saw it, now you push them away because you don't know that, and you don't know love. Remember, you don't know love. So whatever, you know, when you feel like this person is becoming closer to me, then you push them away. And that is something that we need to unlearn. And this particular one, you will learn when you heal, that the man in your life, my husband, is not the person who raped me, right? It is not at all. And I need to give him the love that he needs. So I think I spoke about this in one of the lives, that, you know, when now I healed this part of me, as you can see, I'm doing the yoga thing and, you know, the meditation and all of these things. As I was healing this part of me, the shame now was written off. You know, I was learning new things about myself, which at some point I had believed that now my love language is this, you know. So as I've already said, you know, you will know what you deserve, right, in life. But because of sexual trauma, because of this trauma, it will make you shift and say, I don't want that one, I actually want this one. So you know, my love language changed. And because of sexual trauma, I said, now I like gifts, and I also like works of service, which to me, yes, I still want, you know, somebody to work for me and clean and do all the chores, but that's not my love language. Actually, my love language is touching and spending, you know, quality time together, right? But by that time, I didn't realize that it was my love language, because I was clouded by my own judgment and trauma and a whole lot of other things, right? So heal yourself. I ask that you heal yourself. I am going to give you 3 methods. These are the basic methods. Now, when people come to me for healing sessions, they see how they have held on to a lot of trauma, in them, that they have even identified themselves with that trauma. So when you get deeper into the healing, the energy healing session is the spiritual part of it. You are healing not only your mind and your body, but you are also healing your spirit. And I ask you that if you have been, it might not be sexual abuse, but if you have been through anything, or you are seeing a pattern in your life, because this is one of the things, and many people would be seeing patterns like, stagnancy, maybe you don't last in your relationships. Men come into your life, they just want to drive your car and then just leave you like that, and they just want to sleep with you. They think that you don't deserve to be married. You need to come for a healing session, because there is something, nothing comes into your life uninvited. You either invite it with your energy, your thoughts, or your emotions, right? So 3 things, right? 3 things that we do, that I started doing way back 7 years ago when I was starting this journey, was exercising. So I've been exercising for 7 years, guys, and when you exercise, you organically, let me say it like that, organically you releasing hormones, happy hormones, love hormones, oxytocin, dopamine, and naturally. You don't need to go and drink something that can give you dopamine. You don't need to go. So personally, I love running, and I know that when I run, it makes me like that. But I haven't been going for a run because I've been busy with the program of Fetch Your Body. Now sometimes I'm exhausted, but I will try and do like a skipping rope. So exercising, it's very important when you are in your journey of healing. So many people would say, I'm already skinny, so I don't need to exercise. You don't exercise because you want to lose weight, right? There are other people who have been exercising for many years. They want to lose weight, but because of the food they eat, they're not losing weight, right? So exercise is much more than that. It's actually, to me, a spiritual practice, right? To me, I know that a lot of people think it's just, you go to the gym and do this. This is, to me, where I had seen how massive God is, right? So you want to start an exercise routine, and if you are struggling with consistency, I ask that you join the program that I have, Fetch Your Body, because at least there you have people who are like you, who have been struggling with consistency, and now they are consistent, right? Or you can also watch one of my videos here that talks about consistency, right? The second one that you want to do is meditation. Meditation as well, it's an exercise. Though you are seated, you are thinking, I'm just seated, and no, but you are actually doing a lot of work. It also works as an exercise. It gives you dopamine. It gives you feel-good hormones. When you come out of a meditation, you had cleared your mind. Everything else, it's all right. Like, it's bob, right? Yeah. So you want to also start a meditation. This is actually a spiritual practice, right? You want to start also meditating, maybe 5 minutes a day, or 10 minutes, whatever that you can do, right? The third one is a mirror work. Mirror work, you need to look at yourself in the mirror. Like, now, okay, I've got my makeup, I'm beautiful, but take off the makeup, take off your clothes. If you have that big mirror, take off everything and start talking to your body, doing a body talk. Which part of me is carrying this wound, right? You start talking to your body, and you will see how amazing you will start loving yourself. Hug yourself, guys. Hug yourself. You have hands, you can still hug yourself. As you do this mirror work, hug yourself. Tell yourself, look at every part of your body and tell it that, Malebo, I love your eyes, I love your lips, I love your voice, I love your nose, I love your fingers, I love whatever. And you'll start falling in love with yourself, right? As you fall in love with yourself, the guilt and the shame, the undeservingness will start creeping out, because they cannot live where there is love. Those are negative emotions, and they're coming, like, out of, I would say, they are from the darkness, right? And now when you are bringing love, you are bringing light, right? Okay, that's it for today. Wow, there I was, 34 minutes. Hello, yes, Jeanette, Real Talk with Intabi, yes, girl. Hello, Mandumo. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you guys for joining me. If you are here for the first time, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you love this content, please share it with your friends. Let us grow this community together. For those of you who are going to watch a replay, #replay. Thank you for being here. I love you. Have an awesome night.